Taylor, what's the culture like in Japan?
The culture of Japan is very interesting. The educational system in Japan differs slightly from that of the United States. Children spend 6 years in elementary school, 3 years in middle school, and 3 years in high school. Elementary and middle school are compulsory. Although high school is not a requirement, 98% of students do attend. Class sizes are typically around 30 to 40 students, and the school year begins in April and ends in March of the following year. Japan has many different religious affiliations, Buddhism and Shinto being the most popular. The Japanese language is spoken by 120 million inhabitants of Japan. There are 3 categories of words: native Japanese words, words borrowed from China, and words borrowed in modern times. When speaking, the Japanese tend to be very polite. Different words are used when speaking to someone the person knows well versus someone that is a stranger. To determine the degree of politeness, different factors are taken into account, such as age, social status, and gender. A custom in Japan is bowing when greeting each other. Different bows mean different things. An informal bow has a bend of about 15 degrees. There is also a 30-degree bow used to greet customers or thank someone. A formal bow will be at a 45-degree angle looking down at your feet. This can signify deep gratitude, a respectful greeting, or a formal apology. Japan is a constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary government. There is a House of Representatives and a House of Councilors. Interestingly, Japanese courts don't use a jury system and there are no claims courts. Japan leads the world in many of the technology fields today. Technology and transportation is superb with the 500 series bullet train. This bullet train has the world's fastest operating speed of 186 miles per hour. Japan is the leading innovator in the cell phone category, introducing email capabilities in 1999, camera phones in 2000, third-generation networks in 2001, full music downloads in 2002, electronic payments in 2004, and digital TV in 2005. In fact, many of the Japanese use cell phones to search the internet as opposed to a computer.
So Elizabeth, what's investing in Japan like?
There are many aspects to investing in Japan.
Japan entered the global market in 1854 with the signing of the Treaty of Peace and Amity between the Emperor of Japan and the United States of America. Japan has 3 types of tariff rates: general tariff rates, temporary tariff rates, and WTO-bound tariff rates. A major complaint for U.S. businesses doing business in Japan is the extremely high entry costs they face when trying to penetrate the Japanese market. These high costs include language, taxes, and labor costs. It's challenging to find English-speaking staff because Japanese employ lifelong job security. It is imperative that foreign businesses come into Japan with a specific strategy in order to make it amongst all of the competition. It can take anywhere between 3 to 5 years to succeed, and businesses have to be able to adapt their business strategy. Their inflow from foreign direct investment is lagging behind that of other developed countries due to the fact that foreign investors face a lot of governmental red tape. Japan has currently instituted a goal of doubling their level of FDI in 5-year intervals in order to narrow the gap in FDI levels. Foreign investors can make the potential investment more favorable to the Japanese by avoiding confrontation, investing in industries that won't face resistance, being sensitive to the Japanese culture, negotiating as equals, and soothing fears of losing lifetime employment by ensuring there won't be layoffs. It's a good time to invest because the Japanese are focused on global growth and development, and many Japanese companies have equities with low valuations, strong balance sheets, high dividend yields, and solid business models. 3 ways to minimize risk when investing in Japan. Do not overpay for assets, invest in well-capitalized companies, and understand the business and culture you are investing in.
So Chad, tell me about production issues in Japan.
Well, here are some examples. Japan has suffered from several tragic disasters, both man-made like war and natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis. Most recently, the earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan in 2011 destroyed much of the northeastern infrastructure. Over $40 billion in damage was done. The nation had to shut down the Fukushima power plant and 43 of the 54 nuclear reactors, which account for over 25% of Japan's electricity supply. This forced businesses to shut down, which led to manufacturers turning away from Japanese suppliers to find untainted products. Japan has 3 management styles. The first, permanent employment, comes after a 6 to 12 month probationary period for workers who graduate from a highly regarded university. If the employees make it through the probation period, they're expected to stay with the business for the rest of their career. The second, promotion and reward, is determined based on seniority, where new workers don't typically make much, but they know they'll make up for it with consistent pay raises. The final management style is the company union, which is available for most workers, and they are encouraged to join the union. However, strikes are not a common occurrence because Japan's compromise style. Their style is not about running the company for pure profits without taking the employees into consideration.
Kyle, what is the economy like in Japan?
Well, Chris, Japan has one of the largest economies in the world. Japan has a social market economy that is basically an open market with limited government action. They have a population of just over 127 million with a median age of 45 that makes them one of the oldest in the world. They rank third in terms of GDP behind the US and China, where 98.2% of the GDP is made up of industry and services. As far as workplace, they rank 9 with about 66 million, with an unemployment rate at about 4.2%. Japan lacks natural resources because only 15% of their land can be used as farming. Therefore, they depend on imports for most crops and other miscellaneous raw materials. They are among the world leaders in industries where they are the most innovative and highly advanced. They are world leaders in production and advancement in both automobile and electronic industries, where they are home to 6 of the top 20 largest vehicle manufacturers and top brands in the electronic industry. Their main exports are cars and electronic devices, where their most important trade partners are the US and China. They rely heavily on imports, as already mentioned above, mainly being crops and raw materials. Their major suppliers are the US, China, and Australia. Krista, what impact has marketing had on Japan?
Well, Kyle, marketing has impacted Japan in many ways. The Japanese economy has been growing fundamentally since the 1990s, and a large part of this can be credited to successful marketing strategies. The Japanese have 4 main concepts that focus on balancing harmony with humans in their society: pseudo-harmonism, eclecticism, exceptionism, and non-functionality. Japanese marketing is about appeal and acceptability in their culture. They are generally not leaders in product innovation, but they have a strong focus on group acceptance and development of their products, which creates marketing strategies that meet the product's purpose and target market. Blast media and consumer involvement are the most popular channels in Japan. These allow them to create a buzz for products and helps them focus on high potential segments in which they see rapid growth that can lead to quick, large profits. The Japanese do not take risks and choose to spend money on research and development to ensure their products can be marketed as well as meet higher quality standards than existing products. By creating marketing strategies that show differentiation in quality, purpose, and ability, the Japanese marketing arena has largely targeted their advancements to create growth. Japan is one of the top 5 largest economies in the world. They have a vertical and group structure in their society which creates relationships that affect buying power and purpose. When purchasing items, they ask themselves how it will affect their status in the community and their groups because they want to ensure that the purchases will improve these relationships. First, they need an aggressive marketing mix that focuses on presentation and consumer involvement. Secondly, marketing has to be clear, and a company should spend a lot of time understanding target groups and functions within those groups. Lastly, it should focus on development and quality of a product to give consumers a feeling that the products they purchase will provide the benefits they desire.